Hi guys, welcome back. It is Friday morning and we have Roxana to help us out with these questions. And I always like to just kind of give you a disclaimer. Anything that I say is not meant to diagnose or cure any of your medical diseases. Okay, this is just meant for you to do research and come up with your own conclusions. I mean, that being said, Roxana, let me now tell you the cure for cancer. No, I'm just kidding. I mean, it's quite amazing. Like even on the back of all the supplement bottles that anyone has to put out, you have to legally put this statement. These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to pretty much do anything. Can't do anything. Can't cure, can't prevent, can't do anything. So you just have to put that out there. And I think there's just a whole monopoly over the body by the medical profession. So yeah, so that's what's going on. So we have a lot of callers already been on for 60 minutes. So we're going to go right to Ruth in Texas. Ruth, you had a question. Go ahead.
Good morning, Dr. Berg.
Good morning.
First, I wanted to thank you for the information you gave me last time on the digestate and the gallbladder formula.
Sure.
I've been taking just the 2 with protein in my meal and then 1 gallbladder afterwards, after the meal, and I felt much better.
Awesome.
A follow-up question on that, on the gallbladder formula.
Mm-hmm.
Do you take it immediately after the meal or about a half hour? Because isn't the bile released in the small intestines?
Yeah. Yeah, and so here's kind of the thought on that. Yeah, I would take it immediately right after you eat. It's going to kind of trace the food and back of the food, so it's not going to be before. But the whole thought is if you take the gallbladder formula with the bile, which is alkaline, before the food, you know, could kind of neutralize some of the acid, and you could end up with like less stomach acid. So my whole thought is let the stomach do its job initially with the food, follow it up with the bile. It just seems to work better because you're right. The bile is going to be excreted from the gallbladder into the small intestine. It's not going to be in the stomach. So we don't necessarily want to interfere with the stomach acid as much as to a certain degree. But here's the thing. I also added in betaine hydrochloride to that formula to counter some
pancreas.
Yeah, so we have an acidifying effect. So it shouldn't be too bad. But if the only thing is if on a rare occasion, if someone does not have enough stomach acid and they take the gallbladder and then without the Digest Plus, then it takes that little bit of acid they have and they might actually feel a little worse. So in which case it's simple to fix. Just add more stomach acid, apple cider vinegar, bam, problem solved.
Okay. So my question today was about the adrenal fatigue and the adrenal and cortisol relief. I tried taking the adrenal and cortisol relief, and it really brought me down too much. So then I started taking the adrenal fatigue, and it picks me up. Mm-hmm. So I take 1 in the morning with 3 of the sea kelp and 2 of the B5s. Yeah. But I'm wondering at what point would I change over to the adrenal support? Will I know?
The adrenal, there's 2 products to have. Adrenal fatigue formula, it's advanced formula. It's like really strong. It's for people that need more help. And you're responding good to it, so that's what you need right now. The adrenal and cortisol relief is more for, actually it's for people that don't have a really big problem with adrenals. Maybe they need to maintain it. It's a minor problem, which honestly is the majority of the population. They will do very well on the regular adrenal program, but not the advanced formula. That's mainly for people that have some chronic stress, inflammatory conditions, but apparently that's what seems to work on you. So I would stick with that right now, and then as you improve, then add the adrenal and cortisol relief later. That's what I would do.
So they're the same formula then? No. They're just one stronger than the other?
No, they're completely different formulas.
Oh, okay. Okay, because I was going to say the cortisol relief, it actually made me tired and sleepy and not wanting to get out of bed. But the adrenal fatigue, it perks me up, makes me feel good. And then when I added the pantothenic acid, I felt even better. The only thing is I get a little bit of heaviness in my chest, but I think that's the pantothenic acid that's doing that because it's the last one that I added.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to cut back on that, or maybe even eliminate it now that the adrenal fatigue really seems to be helping.
Yeah,
But
and
I love those two.
Yeah, it works good. So the thing that you have to realize sometimes too is when you start working with the adrenals, some of these nutrients can really chill out the adrenal to the point where you feel tired, which really is your adrenals finally going, thank you. I could finally chill out after the flight or fight mechanism because it's going to take a person out of that stress mode and all of a sudden feel like you want to take a nap. So that's probably what's happening.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, and so it's working, but it's working too fast. So you just ease off, take a little less, take it before bed, boom, you're fine.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Same thing with
Thank you.
You're welcome. Same thing with the massage tool. When you start applying this, it'll just put someone into a sleep. And they think, oh, I'm detoxing. No, you're actually going to sleep. We're pulling stress out, especially if you had flight or fight. All right, Ruth, thanks for your call. We're going to go to Deborah in Connecticut. You've been waiting for just under an hour. Go ahead, Deb.
Hi, good morning. Thank
Good
you for
morning.
taking my call.
Sure.
I looked at one of your videos regarding sinus infections and things like that. My son's about 7, and he always sounds like he has a blocked nose, even though he does not have a cold. And I put him on oregano oil, some drops in water, because he won't take a pill.
Yeah.
But I've been doing it now for a while, and I just don't see any difference.
Yeah.
Go
ahead.
And then my other question, if you have time, is I've been doing the program, and I haven't lost any weight for about a month, and I haven't lost any inches, but my belly is starting to increase again. And I'm like, what is going on?
Okay. So let's talk about your son first. Is your son eating healthily? Is he doing?
No, he loves pasta, and I can't get him off of it.
Yeah.
I've tried zoodles and all that. Only thing he'll eat is string beans, and I can't get him off the pasta.
I think
We're on gluten-free, but that's about it.
Yeah, the thing that I would recommend is your next child, start them off early. No. Now, I think what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to just continue to enlighten and educate and even try to get him to watch a video, because unless he decides, it's like you can't force him. It's just not going to be good. But it's probably something in the diet that's going to creating mucus and stuffing up his nose. There's another thing, and the problem with kids too is sometimes they don't want to take supplements. So, because like some of the other remedies would be Spanish black radish, really works good. You can get in a tablet, it clears up the sinuses. Liquid stinging nettle root also works good, but sometimes it's in a capsule. There's a lot of remedies for that, but that's kind of what you're up against. Probably going to maybe eliminating dairy might help. Now, as far as you, let's just really quickly give me a summary of what. Are you doing intermittent fasting?
I'm doing intermittent fasting.
Okay.
I am not exercising.
Okay.
I'm eating 1.5 meals a day.
Okay, what are you eating?
The protocol, I'm eating high kale. I'm doing my high fat with my moderate protein.
Okay, so here's what I would do. I would not add a lot more fat to your diet. And just kind of make sure that your fat's just coming within the protein itself. Don't add extra fat, because sometimes you might be in ketosis, but you're just burning that extra fat. And that's why I just released a video on ketosis won't necessarily cause you to lose weight, depending on how much fat you have in the diet. So you might want to reduce that so it forces your body to use your own fat. That's one thing. The other thing I want you to try, I think that extra stomach thing is more of a bloating from the kale. I want you to not do the kale and try other types of vegetables, romaine lettuce leaf, and see if that doesn't just help you. Because that's another little thing with that kale. For some people, they tend to bloat with that.
Okay, great.
Okay?
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, we're going to Roxana. Roxana, do we have any questions on social media? Anything?
Yes, we do.
Okay, go ahead.
First, let me just, all the countries that are out there, Denmark, United Kingdom, Ireland, Romania. We have people from, of course, the United States, California, Philadelphia, Cincinnati. We have people from Scotland. They're just like all over the place.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And they're all at the same time zone. That's awesome.
Yeah. So we have Anivesh Kovis from YouTube. Sorry if I said that wrong. Prebiotic supplements effective in weight loss?
Okay. The prebiotics would be more like the fiber, and there's like, for example, asparagus has a great prebiotic, and that's going to be food for the microbes. Now, will it help weight loss? It may or may not, depending on, excuse me, depending on if you're lacking or you're lacking in those fibers or food for the microbes. So I think it can contribute, but some people have an overabundance of friendly bacteria or just bacteria in general in their gut. And with those people, it's usually a problem with some unfriendly. It's not all friendly. So adding more prebiotics is not necessarily like the thing that's going to help you lose weight. But the key is, again, reducing the carbohydrates. That's the most important thing. And keeping your vegetables very high. But if you're not used to consuming vegetables, you might have to ease up into it because it could overload your gut because they don't have, you might not have, they're not used to consuming that much fiber. So that could actually bind you up and make you feel like you're gaining weight when in fact you're not, you're just bloated. All right?
Okay. From YouTube, we have Chris Maverick. He says, what's a good food to break a fast that you've been on for 1 to 2 days?
Well, the best way to break the fast is the food that is the highest nutrients. Because think about it, if you're any first meal of the day or of the week, your cells are going to be like super open to receiving that like a rocket ship. So just make sure that that meal is not low quality, it's some seriously high nutrients in there. I would take your supplements first, then boom, eat, and then I recommend the vegetables first, then the protein, and then the fat.
Okay.
Did you like that answer?
Yep.
Okay, good. Good. Do you have another question?
Yep. Judy Rowland is asking what you think about ox bile.
Yeah, ox bile. It's actually, I use it in my gallbladder formula, purified bile salts. Bile salts really help to prevent stones, and they help you extract fat-soluble vitamins from the fats that you are eating. And a lot of people, either they don't have a gallbladder or they have a sluggish gallbladder, and that will help them. But make sure you consume that after the meal, not before, because it could neutralize your stomach. And then another thing that's really missing is the acidifier. It's in my digest formula, which acidifies the stomach, and then just by that alone, that will increase your production of bile without even taking bile. So it's a kind of a omitted thing with a lot of people. Okay?
Okay.
So now, Roxana, I have one, we're going to ask the first question right off the bat, okay?
Okay.
So in social media, this is a true or false question, guys. This is going to be really easy for you. True or false? Insulin is used by certain types of snails to cause their prey to be subdued and taken over, like it makes them slightly unconscious. Is that true or false? Okay.
Okay.
Do snails use insulin to use it as a defense mechanism for their prey? I know it's kind of a common question that people ask a lot, but I just want to see if they can get this true or false, okay? And we'll come back to that answer. All right, so we're going to go right to Brian. You're from Nebraska. You had a question. Go ahead.
Hi, doctor.
Hi.
Yes, I have several conditions. I have diabetes and epilepsy, two of those, both of which the ketogenic diet is supposed to help. But I also have panhypopituitarism. I have adrenal insufficiency, and I'm taking all the steroids that your body would make. I'm taking synthetic ones. So thyroid, cortisone, growth hormone, testosterone, and so mainly my cholesterol last time I was at the doctor is 300. So I'm wondering if it's safe to do the diet, and with all those conditions, what would you recommend?
Okay, good. Other than that, Brian, how you doing? No, I'm just
Good.
kidding. Okay, good. So, all right, here's the thing, Brian. There's a great movie you need to watch. You can get it. It's on YouTube. It's actually for free. First, Do No Harm. Okay, watch that movie. It's awesome because it covers true story about this little child who had epilepsy and did the keto. So it's a really good movie to watch. So check that out. But the only diet that you need to focus on right now is the keto with intermittent fasting. It is the exact thing that is going to help you so much. So you can kill two birds with one stone. You're going to definitely help support neurogenesis in the brain, help your brain work better. And it's been a proven beneficial thing for people with seizures, epilepsy, and diabetes. So your cholesterol's high. Well, I know because obviously your insulin is probably sky high, and I would get an insulin fasting test. But if you did this program and you kept your carbs low and you did it exactly like I'm telling people, I would definitely get the book so you get the full picture of this, because you don't want to just randomly try different things. Understand how to do it and then implement it. With the fat, you're going to find that your cholesterol will come down because you don't have the carbs. Really important. Go for health first. So you want to do a lot of vegetables, a lot of healthy quality fats, and implement the intermittent fasting. I would expect to see great results within a few days and even a few weeks with doing this. Now, the fact that you're on the steroids, it's a situation, so you don't necessarily want to come off anything, but start implementing this thing as your body heals. Get with your doctor to reduce the amount of these steroids. The steroids are probably the thing that I'm most concerned about because they have such big side effects, and your body becomes dependent on it, and it affects the adrenal. So I think your entire endocrine system will be very happy and thank you if you do this. And then one last thing, colostrum, you can get it from the health food store. Get a high quality one, a powder. Start taking very small amounts of it before you go to bed in some water, because that's really good to repair the damage from steroids. All right? Thanks, Brian. Okay, Devin, you're from Wisconsin. You had a question.
Yeah, hi, Dr. Berg.
Hi.
First of all, I just want to say I just appreciate all the videos and all the knowledge you put out there. It's really cool to go on YouTube and see that sort of thing.
Awesome, thanks.
So I have a few questions, a couple short ones and then a little bit of a longer one. So I'm 19 years old. I have slightly high cholesterol already, and I was wondering about eggs. I know that you have in your videos like eggs. They don't, as far as cholesterol goes, they're fine. But I was wondering, if someone who has high cholesterol already, would they be good or bad? That's one. And then as someone who's trying to burn fat and build muscle, would a protein shake, a high-quality protein shake, grass-fed whey, isolate, after a workout, kind of defeat the purpose of burning fat, or how would that work out? And also I know like the foods that I'm supposed to be eating. I kind of have a general understanding of like the good stuff to be eating, but as far as like timing goes, like I'm not really that's the one thing that I kind of lag in. So pretty much like how my day goes, I wake up around 10, have some coffee to wake up. Then I go, without eating anything, I go work out pretty intensely. And then after, I have my first meal around 1 o'clock. So I work out for about an hour. Then a half hour to an hour, I have my first meal. Most of the time, I have a protein shake before that. High fats, usually bacon, eggs. And then second meal is normally between 7 to 8, and then that's it. Only 2 meals. So I was wondering if there's anything I can do. And the kale shake, I've been doing that a lot. I normally do that towards the second meal. So I do that after my second meal.
Okay.
So yeah, I was just kind of wondering, if there's anything I can do within that kind of routine to maybe make this whole approach, more effective.
Okay. So question I have for you, are your triglycerides high or low?
I'm not sure.
Okay. What about your
I'm not
HDL?
actually sure.
Your HDL, you know?
I'm not sure. I just
Okay.
I just know that my cholesterol is slightly
Okay.
higher than it should be.
And then the most important question is, what part of Wisconsin are you from?
Waukesha, Wisconsin.
Okay, good. I'm from originally Kenosha, so right down
Oh,
the
okay.
street.
And obviously, in my breakfast, I do have cheese, just so you know.
Of course, that's a given. That's a
Gotta
natural
have it.
thing. Yeah. All right. So here's what you do, Devin. The most important thing that you need to realize is that for you too, just if there's high cholesterol, is just to keep your quantities of vegetables very high. Like, yes, the kale shake, but just like make a big, huge salad, like a big one, and you can have that like for your dinner as your first thing. I always have the big salad. That way, it does keep the cholesterol flowing through the liver, and I think that'll help you. So that's one thing. I think you're doing good with the other foods. I don't know what your second meal is, but I would not do that protein shake after a workout. That's going to kind of defeat the purpose because it's going to spike insulin. So if you wanted a protein shake, go ahead and have it with the meal as your protein, not as a snack. I think that'll help you. But the eggs, no, it's not going to worsen your cholesterol. And also, you have to realize there is zero data that proves that even increasing dietary fat will increase your cholesterol or cause heart attacks. And there's no data that shows that having high cholesterol will cause heart attacks. So I know people will say, oh yes, there is. No, there's not. I'm waiting for that study out there. It's not out there. The thing is, if you combine the carbs. So total cholesterol used to be 225 as normal. They dropped it and put everyone on statins. So I wouldn't even worry about total cholesterol. But if your triglycerides are low and your HDL is high, even if you had high LDLs, it would not be a problem. There's a video on that, so I would watch that. Let's see. So you asked that. Protein shake, I wouldn't do that. Just ride the wave, do the 2 meals a day, add the vegetables more, and I think you're going to be fine. And as long as you keep your cheese in there, make sure it's organic from Wisconsin. I'll tell you one thing about Wisconsin. That's like the best water I've ever had in my life. I wish I could pipe it out and ship it to Virginia. But anyway, thanks for your call, and let us know how you do. Hey guys, listen, below there's a little link on Keto Essentials. If you're new to keto and you want a plan of action, a real simple little sheet. It's a one-sheeter and it tells you what to eat, what not to eat. You can click the link below and get it. It's called Keto Essentials. Download. It's real simple. Check it out. Okay? All right. Roxana, what do we got for the answers? True or false?
We have a lot of true.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Yeah.
People think that snails have... Yeah, and they are actually... So let's get a drum roll. Don't want to forget the drum roll. Okay. So do snails produce insulin? Yes, they do. Okay, certain cone snails, and they've been doing it for quite a few years. Insulin's been around for about 2 billion years on this planet. I mean, 2 billion years in different single-cell organisms, and even fish, snails, clams use insulin to bring their prey into a state where they can, take over. So it makes them really tired and sluggish. I mean, think about if you have too much insulin, you can go into a coma. So it's definitely a situation. So the motto is that keep your insulin normal, don't keep it too high, don't keep it too low, and don't eat things that increase insulin, or else you too will become prey to the problems of sluggishness mentally, physically. Yeah. Okay?
Okay.
All right. Well, these guys are sharp. All right. So Marianne Wren from Utah, you had a question. So I think I'm not pronouncing it. It's Marianne from Utah. Reactive hypoglycemia. Are you still there? All right, we lost that call. I'm just going to put her on. I'm going to go right to the next person. So Christine, you're from Germany. You had a question.
Yes, greetings from Germany, Dr. Berg.
Hi.
Hi, I've been on keto for almost 2 years.
Good.
I was type 2 diabetic. 3 months after I was on keto, I could get off my medication.
Wow, that's awesome.
I don't weigh myself, but I know that I've been losing weight because my clothes fit me loose now.
Good.
However, about 6 months ago, we started intermittent fasting, and I've developed a stomach rash. I get really cold in my hands, and I still have a poochy stomach. Will
Got
these
it.
go away soon?
Okay, so here's the thing. Has your stomach gotten smaller on the top and made your stomach and the lower part look a little bit bigger?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. All right, so here, let me answer the questions. First of all, you're right. They call it a keto rash. I think it should be called intermittent fasting rash because when you do intermittent fasting, you put your body in that state called autophagy, which is the recycling of old damaged protein parts, but also it can clean up a lot of microbes and detox you a little bit. So I think one thing you could do is get some bentonite clay, take that when you're fasting to clean up any excess, immune reactions that's creating, and that's where the rash is coming from. Another thing is to take the B vitamins because the B vitamins will help nutritional yeast. That sometimes will handle the rash. But I'm telling you, you can get rashes from like viruses that can come out of remission, all sorts of things, and then that can trigger it. Now the cold is also your body adapting, and that should over time clear up, but it also is an indication that you might need some iodine. So I would get some sea kelp, and that should help you. But what happens is as you lose weight, sometimes other things might be accentuated, like the lower part of the stomach, which is always the last to go, which will eventually go, and all of a sudden now that looks bigger, but your top of your stomach looks smaller. Or let's say the side of your legs, you're losing weight, but now that little bulge of extra fat on your hips it's more pronounced. Or the weight on the upper body goes away, but then not in the lower part, so now it looks worse. So yeah, that's a situation. Over time, that will get better. Just stick with it and add exercise. But it could take, honestly, up to a year. Okay, I'm sorry, but just want to let you know. Thanks for your call from Germany. All right, Roxana, do we have any questions?
Yes,
Go ahead.
Let's see here. We have Brooke Bruce from Facebook and asking that she's interested in hearing if someone with gastric bypass has to eat more times a day to get the calories in.
Yeah, with gastric bypass, I did a video on this. The stomach is now smaller. And by the way, Roxana, when you do intermittent fasting, your stomach will shrink. Your stomach will shrink, not to the degree of that gastric bypass. So when that happens, your body adapts to this a small amount of food, and you do not have to eat more frequently to get your nutrients because your body now will retain more nutrients, especially if you're doing intermittent fasting. So when you do gastric bypass, it does honestly improve insulin resistance just for the fact that you're cutting down the amount of food and the more stimulation of insulin. I'm not recommending it, but if you had it done, you're going to see improvements with your blood sugars. So that's because of the less amount of food. But I would not increase the frequency to get your calories. I would just eat what you can and then go with that. And make sure the foods are very concentrated, nutrient dense, and you're probably going to have to supplement with trace minerals and maybe a little bile support. The Gallbladder formula, that will help you. So you can start really pulling in those fat soluble vitamins. Okay, was that good?
Yep.
Okay, good. Do you have another question?
Yes, from YouTube, Cassandra Cox is asking if intermittent fasting and keto is okay if you're pregnant.
Well, I think keto is totally fine if you're pregnant. I would stick with 3 meals and not do any more severe intermittent fasting if you're pregnant, just to make sure. Just stick with three meals, no snacks. And I think but keto is totally healthy, especially if you're doing it healthily, like I recommend. Okay? Good. So I just want to bring up this one thing. I want to show you guys. I don't know if you've ever seen one of these right here. It's the EMF tester. What is EMF? Electromagnetic fields. I want to show you something. This picks up a lot of like the energy coming off your cell phone, your computers. I'm going to turn it on, and I'm going to do a video on this around my house. I just found all sorts of areas that I need to like you don't want to have a battery charger with your phone right by your head when you're going to sleep at night, because look at this thing. You can see that it's not good, right? So, and also when you talk on your phone, you're getting a lot of EMFs, especially if it's in the car, Roxana. So if you have a cell phone, number one, do not touch it on your ear. There's been studies that it causes brain tumors. So keep it away from the ear, or not even, or put on speakerphone, and don't even keep it touching your body. And even have one of those little adapters that goes into the ear, but make sure it's like there's a certain one, it's an earbud that doesn't have a wire. It's just, it puts the sound up there. But I will put this in the video, but I just want to bring this up. EMFs are pretty intense, especially if, they say it's safe, but that's what they said with cigarettes. So it's just a little point. I'm going to do an extensive video on that. Of course, they say sugar's safe, right? You can even give it to your babies. All right, and baby food. All right, do you have another question?
Yep. Actually got a lot of questions on exercise. Is it okay to exercise during keto, and how frequent?
No, if you're doing keto, you cannot exercise anymore.
Oh.
Okay, do you have any other questions? I'm just being very sarcastic. No, you want to do exercise with keto and intermittent fasting. It's a very good thing.
Okay.
It's going to give you the unfair advantage. It's going to speed up weight loss. It's going to help you tone. You definitely need to do that. So that leads us to the next question, Roxana.
Mm-hmm.
Are you ready for this?
Yep.
Okay. What is the number one exercise that will trigger growth hormone higher than any other exercise on planet Earth? Okay, what type of exercise? And it's a specific type of exercise. Okay? So go ahead and answer, and we will reveal this after my next caller. Okay, California. We have Paris from California. You had a question about, I think, cholesterol levels.
Hello. Hello?
Hi, I can hear you now.
Yeah, I'm on keto for 1 year, almost a year, and my cholesterol doesn't want to come down. The total cholesterol is 242. 3 months ago it was 199, and good cholesterol is 162. Bad cholesterol is anyway, HDL and LDL all high.
Okay.
And the ratio is perfectly okay. And I asked them to do a lot of different tests. All those HDL, whatever risk and stuff is okay, but total HDL, LDL is very high. And, my doctor also was talking about statin, but I don't want to do that. So is any point they're going to go down?
So I have a question. Is your triglycerides normal?
Yes.
Okay.
It wasn't normal before keto, but now it's normal, and the ratio is perfectly normal. I mean, there's another test is a cholesterol HDL ratio is normal, cholesterol percentage cholesterol is normal. I don't know, there's a lot of testing. And my albumin got slightly high, and the doctor said it's because of the keto, but
Your alkaline phosphate?
I don't believe.
Phosphatase?
No, albumin.
Albumin, okay.
Albumin.
Okay.
Albumin.
All right. So let me ask you another question. Are you going through any stress right now?
Always the stress. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So here, have you ever had your pattern A and pattern B cholesterol tested, LDL?
Actually, I asked her this time. She said, no, we know that. No, she never. I asked her for pattern A and pattern B, because I saw a new video. But she said, no, we don't need that. And they're trying to not do those tests because maybe the insurance company doesn't pay. But the question is, in any point they're going to go down, or that's going to be high always? Or it's not that bad,
okay.
Maybe?
Let me just answer that, okay? So I would find another doctor. I would find another doctor who will do the test. You want to check with pattern A and pattern B. I would bet it's not the bad type of LDL. I think it's a good thing. I think if you're going through stress, you said always, think about this. All your stress hormones need cholesterol. People that are under stress need more adrenal hormones. So guess what? Your total cholesterol is going to be high. Your ratios are fine. Your triglycerides are low. You know what that means? It means that actually it's totally normal to have slightly higher cholesterol. I would, just for the fun of it, I would love to be a fly on the wall, put a little microphone in your ear to say, doctor, okay, so the total cholesterol is bad. Can you just send me the research that shows that that will be harmful in any way? They won't be able to send it to you because total cholesterol means nothing. Even if it was 250, it would not be a problem, or even, I mean, it's just so insignificant. If these other values are normal, then you do not have to worry about it. It's not significant. Your body needs more cholesterol to heal certain things. Your ratios are good. So there's nothing to worry about. The only thing to worry about is you keep going to the doctor and they're going to put doubts in your mind because they don't understand it. So find another doctor, get your pattern A, pattern B, and get the truth on what's going on. All right, thanks, Paris. All right, we're going to go to, we're going to go to Roxana. What do we get as the number one exercise that produces the most growth hormone, which is,
Well, we got several different responses.
Yeah.
Walking, sprinting, high intensity, running, sleeping. Somebody said sleeping. Jumping, squats. It was just a variety of different answers.
Okay, so do we have a drum roll, please? Sprinting. Sprinting can increase your human growth hormone by 777%.
Wow.
Sprinting. Now, if you have bad knees, get on a bike, a speed bike, and you can go real fast. The key is going as hard as you can for 30 seconds, or sprinting is hard. Now, when people do the 100-yard dash, Roxana, how long does it usually take? How many seconds?
10.
Yeah, if you're really fast. I think the world record is what, like 9-something seconds? I think I can run it in 15 seconds. No. But the point is that if you go really fast, that's like a short workout. So if you did 100-yard dashes and you did, or just run fast as you can for 30 seconds to the point where your muscles can't go anymore, oh my gosh, that would be the ultimate workout because it's the most stress. And then you wait 90 seconds and then do it again. Now, you can always add that going up a hill. That's even better. But the point is that work up to it, get a personal trainer to help you, but that will produce the most human growth hormone. Plus, it'll activate the glutes, the thighs, and I mean, look at these sprinters. They have way better bodies than long-distance runners. So that is the exercise that you want to graduate to eventually if you want more growth hormone, which is anti-aging. Okay, because I'm almost 35 years old, so it's working on me. So, okay, so now we're going to go to Derek from Queens. Go ahead, Derek.
Hey, good morning, Dr.
Good
Berg.
morning.
How are you?
Good.
Hey, last time we spoke, you told me two things, but I'm going to go quickly. I know there's a lot of people waiting. Last time you told me to take a pre-insulin test and then a post one.
Yeah.
I have a script here, and I just want to read it to you, seeing if I'm not missing anything before I go and actually take these tests. I did take a A1C. My A1C was 5.1.
Wow, perfect.
I think that's a little high for my age. I'm not sure.
No, it's not high at all. It's
Okay.
totally within the normal range.
Gotcha. Okay. This one says glucose postprandial.
Yeah.
Glucose. How many minutes after should I do that? After the meal.
First of all, you don't want to do a glucose postprandial. You want to do an insulin test because you're checking the blood sugars.
Oh, insulin. Okay. So
Yeah.
this is not the right one.
No.
Okay. Okay, so insulin. Okay. Another thing is I have all your products, everything that you've come out with. I have all of it. And this is actually with me and my mother. We are severely stressed. It's like when you explain in your videos to the point where like a pin drop falls and you lose it because like that's how much you're on edge. Total
Yeah.
adrenal out. Especially my mom and myself. So I was wondering what we can take for that. I do have all your formulas.
Okay.
And that's about it, I think, for this week.
Okay, good. So until next week, this is what you're going to do. I just happened to, for you, Derek, just for you, I just created a pretty awesome webinar on stress. Roxana is actually in the video, so she's going to be famous. And I'm going to release it this weekend. So you can watch that video. And I actually show people how to get rid of their body's stress. It's not about sitting on a mountain and doing meditations. I'm not even talking about nutrition for this technique, but I'm going to show you how to extract stress. And I have a lot of examples over and over. It's a technique. You want to watch this video with someone else so you can partner up and do this technique on each other. And if you can't, then I show you how to do it yourself version. But stay tuned this weekend. If you're on my YouTube channel, you'll get a release. We'll also release it on Facebook too. So yeah, that'll handle that. And Keto's Essentials, download it. There's a link down below. There's a quick, 2-page thing that shows you exactly what to eat, what not to eat. Also, you guys, I just want to let you know I just released a new amazing course. It's called a Keto Coaching course. If you like helping people, if that's your purpose in life, this course will help you help people a lot more. I had the health coaching course before. Now I switched it to something called the Keto Coach Training, and we show you how to use ketosis, healthy ketosis, and intermittent fasting as your tools. So it's about 45 lessons. You could probably get it done within 2 to 4 weeks. It's not a bunch of fluff. It's exactly what you need to know, and that way you can help other people and get certified. So go to my website. There's a button you can click. It's probably going to be, where is it? It's under keto. Yeah, keto coaching. Mm-hmm. I should probably say coaching training. But anyway, I'm excited to release that, and I want a team of really good trained people that can help other people. There's so many people that need your help. Yeah, so that's exciting. So check it out. All right, Roxana, what do you got for any type of questions over there?
Yes. Cynthia Clark from YouTube is asking if keto aggravates your adrenal fatigue.
Yeah, that's a good question. It does the opposite. It actually helps adrenal fatigue. Keto helps adrenal fatigue because you're fixing the blood sugars and you're fixing insulin, which is part of the endocrine system, which insulin is going to actually be better for your adrenals. Because if you actually have a blood sugar problem on top of an adrenal problem, it's going to be worsened. So when you run your body on ketones, which is a superior fuel, which is the original fuel source, it's really healthy for the adrenals. In fact, I think it's one of the therapies for the adrenals because you're going to sleep better, you're going to feel better, you're going to have less inflammation. It is not bad for the adrenals at all. Okay?
Good.
Good. Do you have another question?
Yes. Maggie Rivera from Facebook. She's asking, how do you get rid of toxins stored in the fat cells?
Well, as you eat healthy and you can include the cruciferous vegetables in the kale shake, that will naturally, it's called phase 1, phase 2 detoxification, slowly bring these toxins out. And you don't necessarily want to pull them out faster than that, but at some point you want to do, it's called the purification detox, which I'm going to do another video on that, which is the ultimate Roto-Rooter on steroids. It's a sauna based and you're doing nutrition at the same time, and you can kind of extract the toxins that come out through the fat cells without going through the bloodstream. Just comes right out, so you're wiping it off. You're like, wow, look at that. It's like toxins coming out. That's a whole different seminar. So I'll talk more about that in videos, but that would be the ultimate Roto-Rooter. I've done it like 3 times, and it really cleans out the junk out of the trunk. Okay?
Great.
Good. So now we're going to go to Jeremy from Florida. You had a question.
Hey, good morning, Dr.
Good
Berg.
morning.
Hey, I just found out about you about a week ago. I've been diagnosed. They diagnosed me with it's called PMR, which is polymyalgia rheumatica.
Mm-hmm.
It's severe joint pain. I mean severe. And they've got me on a prednisone, and it's actually, when I'm on that prednisone dose pack, I'm a normal person. I can move, I can do all kind of stuff. But as I start tapering off of it, it's back to the same ground zero. So I've been going to an infectious disease doctor. I've been to a rheumatologist, and their comments are fighting each other. So now I'm trying to take a holistic approach and try to do something so I can move around and, be active again. So
Good.
That's why I'm calling today. First time I really even listened to your show, and anything. So I'm just reaching out there. So if you have any advice,
Yeah,
I'd be glad to hear it.
I do. I'm glad that you call it because there's some really good advice. Because your main thing is we need to reduce inflammation in your entire body.
Right.
And the best way to do that is with intermittent fasting. And if you can combine keto, which will drop the insulin and help stabilize your blood sugars, and combine intermittent fasting. And by the way, you can go to the website and watch the quick version, which is under educational tab under how to do ketosis. It's like 4 videos. You can watch how to do that, and then get the book and implement keto and intermittent fasting. Your inflammation will come down. You'll feel much, much better. So that's not treating a disease. What that's doing is getting the basics in for your body to run on the right fuel, so a lot of things can clear up. And this is why it's, when someone like you, wants to know a remedy for something like that, my question is, do you have the basics in yet? If you don't, then get those in, because chances are if you do, you probably won't have those symptoms anymore. Because even if you ask your doctor what causes this, you're going to get a blank stare like deer in the headlights, like, oh, we don't know. They don't know. So that's one thing I would do, okay, is that. The other thing that's really, really good is to take boron. Boron, okay, that trace mineral is really good for inflammation and pain in the muscles. And then the other thing is stinging nettle root. That's another really good one too. But those won't work unless you get the basics in. So get the corrected eating thing and then watch what happens. You just might not need to take all those steroids anymore. Thanks, Jeremy. All right, Roxana, we have another question, okay?
Okay.
You ready for this?
Mm-hmm.
What is the key nutrient, a very specific key nutrient that will help a person prevent peripheral neuropathy? That is like nerve damage to the sensory nerves in the feet and the hands. Okay?
Okay.
What do you guys think? What is the specific nutrient that will help prevent that? Okay. And it's the same nutrient that if you take, you can actually improve it too. Okay? So as they're answering that question, I'm going to go right to Teresa from South Carolina. You had a question about the adrenal type, right?
That's correct.
Yeah, what was your question?
Is it possible to be adrenal type and the fatty liver both at the same time?
Good question. Yeah, it really is, Teresa, because you can have a combination of body types. You can have the adrenal with little ovary, adrenal with liver, absolutely, because they're all connected. So think about this. Let's just say, for example, you had an adrenal type and you're pumping all this cortisol out, which is then turning your muscles into sugar, which is then creating more of a blood sugar issue and more fat. Guess where that fat's going to go? Into the liver. A lot of adrenal cases end up with a fatty liver because cortisol releases fat or converts protein into fat. And so it's going to end up in your liver. So absolutely. So what you want to do is you want to get the basics in first. Get the keto and intermittent fasting and get that really cleaned up. And then reevaluate. Get your liver checked, see if it's better. Get your adrenals checked, see if it's better. And I bet you it's going to be a lot better. Okay? All right, Roxana, what do we have as an answer?
We have a variety. It's vitamin D, calcium, vitamin C, potassium, B complex. It's just a variety.
All right, so do we have a drum roll, please? The answer is vitamin B1. Okay?
Okay.
B1. That is the key one to actually prevent peripheral neuropathies. In fact, Roxana,
Mm-hmm.
your mitochondria, that's the little energy factors in the cell that produce energy. Have you ever heard of the Krebs cycle?
No.
Okay, we won't get into that. That's the energy metabolism thing that's going on in the cells of the mitochondria.
Okay.
Basically, it needs B1. If you have a dysfunctional deficiency of B1, then you're going to start getting side effects if your sugar's too high. If you actually have enough B1 in your bloodstream, in your system, and you actually have high sugar, the symptoms will be much, much less with your neurology and your nerves. So nutritional yeast is one of the best sources of B1. And if you have peripheral neuropathy, you want to take a fat-soluble B1, which is called benfotiamine. Look it up, benfotiamine, and I think that'll help you. Okay? All right. So now we're going to go to the next caller. Patricia, you're from South Carolina. Go ahead. You had a question.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Berg. I just found you not that long ago, about a week ago, on YouTube, and I've started to adopt this lifestyle you teach. So I'm 50 years old, I'm 5'10", and I weigh 330 pounds. And my son was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes, which is a devastating thing. But I decided I want to find out what the mystery to good eating and health is so I could move around and stay alive. The one thing I'm having trouble with, I'm fasting from 6 p.m. to 10 a.m. I feel wonderful. It's really miraculous. But when I sit down to eat my big salad, which I copied from your video, I got a big bowl. I did everything the way you did it. I literally am filling up and cannot, I don't know what's wrong with me. I just can't eat that much. I feel so full. And I wanted to ask for your insight on that. Thank you so much.
It's a really good question because, yeah, it's like you're all this fiber and you're like, oh my God. If you're not used to consuming that salad, what I would do is I would cut it down probably in half, get used to it, because it is a lot of fiber. Because we want to add a little protein in there. But if you're over 300 pounds, you know what? If you could just do the salad with protein and not add extra fat, and you're comfortable with that, go for it, because it's going to actually help you. Some people start craving salad and they keep eating like lots of salad. And that way they get the nutrients, but what happens is it does fill up the entire intestine with a lot of fiber, so they don't have a chance to eat anything else. So you may want to even also try the protein first and then some salad after. But experiment with that. If your bowels are going and you're not getting constipated, then that does mean that you can tolerate that amount of greens. But maybe with myself, I think what I did is I've been doing it for such a long time, my body can digest a lot of salad. But some people might need to go very gradual. But I think you're doing the right thing. You're feeling better. Keep going, and I think it's going to help you a lot. Hey guys, just want to let you know that I have we're on TuneIn Radio right now. We have an app. No, we don't have an app. We're actually in the app, so you can download that. You can listen to us in the car, so that way you can be walking and doing whatever, and you can hear some of these shows. So TuneIn. And not to mention, Anchor app also has us as well. So if you want to download that, you can check it out. It's pretty cool. And also the Keto Essentials, the link down below. If you want to know the basics, go ahead and download that, because it's a really quick version. Okay? All right. So now, Roxana.
Yes.
I have another question.
Okay.
Okay? And this is something very new. What is the fifth body type?
Okay.
So I wrote a book on the 4 body types. What's the fifth body type? What do you think? Okay. And while you're thinking, we're going to go right to Roy from Kentucky. He has a question. Go ahead, Roy.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi, it's Roy from Kentucky. I'm actually at my church doing my walk, and I was waiting to talk to you.
Good.
I started on March 7th of this year. I was 13 pounds away from 300 pounds.
Okay.
I started doing like eating a salad at like Dairy Queen, eating half of it, with chicken.
Right.
And then eating the other half for supper and adding the protein. I've been able to take off 30 pounds in the 29 days.
Wow.
Is that fast is that too fast of a weight loss?
No.
And the other question I have is, what do you do when you get down to your target weight to maintain it?
Okay, good question, Roy. Let me answer both of those. Number one, I think you're doing great. No, that's not too much weight loss, because what's going to happen, you've been running your body on sugar for a while, so all that sugar in your system stored in something called glycogen. Glycogen, it also has a lot of water connected to it. It's like a fluid-filled sponge. So as you dump all this extra fluid, make sure you take your electrolytes too, by the way. You dump all this extra fluid out of your system, you're going to drop a lot of weight. It's not all fat, it's fluid. You need to get rid of the fluid. So no, it's not too much weight loss, especially if you're doing the right eating plan. So you may start plateauing at some point. You might come down to like 8 pounds, because really the maximum fat that you can burn per month is 8 pounds of fat per month. 8 pounds. So these people that are like losing 8 pounds a month, they think, oh my gosh, it's not working. I'm like, yes, it is working. It's working good. So yeah, you're doing fine on that. And then the other question you had is what to do to maintain it. Because if you keep doing what you're doing, and let's say you hit your weight goal, and all of a sudden now you're going to get too skinny. We can't have that. So here's what you do. You just simply increase your fat to the point where you're maintaining. You're not going to gain weight on fat if your carbohydrates are low. You're just going to maintain it, okay? I don't know of anyone, maybe there is someone out there, I don't know of anyone, I've never heard of this, by someone doing a lot of fat with low carbs and gaining a lot of fat. Haven't seen it. It's the carbs, because that controls insulin, okay? All right, Roxana, what do we got for the answer on this one? What's the 5th body type?
We have normal body type, keto adapted body type, healthy body type, fat adopted body type.
Okay, so basically you guys don't know. What do you think, Roxana?
I don't know.
Well, I was thinking about this yesterday, and the answer is the pancreas body type.
Oh.
It's actually insulin resistance. And it just hit me yesterday. I'm like sitting there, I'm going, wait a second. There's another body type.
Wow.
I've missed it. Because we have the liver, we have the adrenal, we have the ovary, we have the thyroid, but the pancreas, the cells of the pancreas, they're called the islets of Langerhans, you knew that. Mm-hmm. They actually start getting a little bigger as they produce all this insulin. And so it pumps out this hormone insulin, which then is a dominating hormone, and you're going to gain weight very similar to the adrenal, but one's caused by one thing and the other's caused by something else. So stay tuned for more on that, but I'm going to build that into my new quiz for body type. It's going to be called the 5th body type. Just because so many people have this and they don't even know it. Mm-hmm. And it's going to solve a lot of problems. Okay? All right, now we're going to go to Christine from France. Go ahead, you're on the line.
Yes. Hello, Dr. Berg.
Hello.
I'm English living in France.
That's what I thought.
And I've got a question about cortisol. Mm-hmm. My blood group is rhesus A negative, and apparently that creates too much cortisol in the body. And I've recently been for a blood test, and the cortisol is coming up high. So the next step, my doctor is going to send me for a scan, an abdominal scan, to look at the adrenals. I was doing intermittent fasting, and I was doing quite well. And then, as usual, when I follow a diet, I start craving chocolate, for example. Do you know, have you heard of this before?
Yeah, and here's a couple tips, because you're going to be the last call. I'm going to give you some tips. So you can do sugar-free chocolate. That's not a problem. You can do some of that. Make sure you do it. Chocolate doesn't have caffeine. It does have another stimulant, so don't do a lot. But I do know you're in France, so you have to have chocolate. But you definitely need to do the keto and intermittent fasting, because with that, you can add these wonderful desserts, these fatty desserts with chocolate at the end of the meal. Not a problem. You can do that. And I think that's going to help you. Now, this weekend, watch my YouTube channel, because I'm going to release a really cool webinar on stress, which is going to help you reduce your cortisol levels. Okay, check it out. And also, you guys, if you have not checked out already my keto coaching training, check it out this weekend. Thank you, Roxana, for helping us on social media. Any last words of wisdom? No, I'm just kidding. But thanks, guys. Have a wonderful weekend. Stay tuned for more health information. See ya.